What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here. Tottenham are in the Champions League final.
Now you're gonna believe us, and now you're gonna believe us. Now you're gonna believe us. We're going to Madrid.
I can't believe it.
I'm still in shock. I'm still in shock. Oh.
Literally, it's been 2 days now, and I'm still in disbelief. I don't believe it.
This smile has not left my face since Wednesday night. And man, what a game! What a performance! What a run to the Champions League! This is what literally dreams are made of. This run, and winning it in Amsterdam on a Wednesday night,
but winning it in the last minute in the quarters and the semis. Like, does it get any better than that?
Man, mate, how many late goals have we seen in this Champions League run? Umpteen times have we seen late goals in the group stages as well. We saw loads of late goals, and the knockout stages have been more of the same. It's been incredible run. This Champions League run has not been great for my heart, but it's been absolutely amazing for the fans.
It's not been great and been great. It's been a bit of both, to be honest. But
we're in a final. I don't know how we are in the Champions League final, man.
And not the best thing about it, but a great thing about it as well, Arsenal in their Europa League semi-final yesterday, and all of them calling up TalkSport and on their social media saying, "Oh, we don't even care. How can we care when Tottenham in the Champions League final?"
They seem to be going through an existential crisis at the moment, Arsenal fans. You've got Robbie making videos like, "I think Spurs have overtaken us now." Like they don't know what to do with themselves. But let's listen. We're in a Champions League final, all thanks to these amazing players and the manager that we have. I'm just so proud of them that
don't forget the fans. The fans were absolutely
and the fans as well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we managed it, but we're somehow there. All the circumstances this season, I don't know how we've done it, but we've pulled through somehow. And this is one of the great Champions League runs I think I can remember. And in every single game, you could rule us out at different stages, but we just keep plugging away. We keep stepping up, and they don't know when they're beating this team.
If we win the Champions League this year, is that the greatest Champions League win of all time?
Is it the greatest Champions League win of all time?
Barring, you got the Jose Mourinho's Porto there, which was also a brilliant one.
When Chelsea won it, they were lucky, but they
still had all the Wonga Chelsea.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. It's up there, isn't it?
With no money, no stadium.
I'm trying to think who else has won the Champions League. Well, Liverpool won it in 2005, 3-0 in the final.
Yeah.
That's got to be up there.
Yeah. It's definitely up there. That's for sure.
Definitely up
there. It might not be the best, but it's definitely up there.
It's definitely up there with one of the greatest. Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, let's crack on with these player ratings. Start with Hugo Lloris. We gave him a 7. I thought he kind of did what he had to do yesterday. Great save early on. Couldn't do much for the goals, I thought, and a great save later on from Ziyech as well. So
yeah, man, that was in stoppage time. People forget that. We actually, Ziyech had a really good chance in stoppage time to seal the game for Ajax. That could have been 3-2, game over. Lloris makes a save, pushes it out wide, and yalla, we go 2 minutes later, we go and score the winner. So massive moment again from Hugo. How many big moments has he had this season? A penalty against Arsenal, against City in the first leg. Some massive moments. Now he's a World Cup finalist, a World Cup winner, and a Champions League finalist within a year. I mean, the man deserves more respect on his name.
It's all right. Yeah, that's 100% true, because I think he's been put down a lot this season for mistakes he's made. But
he's been criticised fairly, but
he has been criticised fairly. But when he does a good job, which has happened more times than he's let us down, people are not shouting as loud as they do when he fucks up.
Yeah, everyone keeps going, we have to improve him, we need to tell him. Like, look how amazing! Look at these big moments he's given us this season. Absolutely ginormous. And listen, Spurs have had their troubles this season. They haven't all been down to Hugo Lloris. He's made a few mistakes himself, granted, but so have other players. Like he's just because he's a goalkeeper, he doesn't mean he's any different to any other player. And I think, in the grand scheme of things, he's actually had a pretty good season. I know he's made a few mistakes, and some of them even cost us. But the big moments, he's really stepped up. And I think overall he's had a very good season. And overall, even in the Premier League, his stats, they stack up to that as well. And you've got to give the man some respect, because again, he stepped up for us, and he's our captain, and he deserves respect.
Not bad for someone who lacked motivation after the summer, is it?
Not terrible, is it? Yeah.
But the thing is like Hugo, the amount of times he's saved us this season, I can't stress it enough. I think he's had a brilliant season. Most of his mistakes this year has been in the Champions League, and we're in the Champions League final, so I don't think his mistakes have been that detrimental to us.
And you think about it, Modric got a Ballon d'Or over getting to a final of the World Cup and Champions League final. And I'm not saying Hugo should be Ballon d'Or or anything, but I'm just saying it deserves respect having that achievement.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, Kieran Trippier. We gave him a 4. Unfortunately, again, another poor performance from him. Really, he did let. I don't know why he was marking Delight in the first place from that corner in the
yeah, that doesn't make sense. Didn't make any sense. The shortest guy on the pitch against like one of the biggest.
Yeah, it was a recipe for disaster. I don't completely blame him for that, but he did lose him.
And the main one for me was the second goal.
Second goal, he lost the ball leading. He lost the ball in a bad position. Could have passed it backwards to keep possession. He didn't. Ajax nipped in. Tadic played Tadic free on the left all the time in the world to pick out Ziyech. And there you go. It's 2-0. Could have really cost us on the night. Credit where it's due, though. He did get. It was a good ball into Llorente, who missed that chance.
Yeah.
To make it 2-2.
To be fair to Trippier, I did think he grew into the game. I mean, as he was poor first half, we gave away 2 goals. Both goals were kind of his fault. But I think as the game did progress, I didn't think he grew as well.
He grew as well, yeah, and he was finding more space on the. He was getting more joy on the right hand side. To be fair to him, he was okay.
A bit harsh, but just because he gave away those 2 goals,
man, those 2 goals he has hardly at forward. You can't in the Champions League semi-final. You just can't be doing that, man. You can't. And compounded with the fact that recently he's had some really poor performances again. His crossing. I know he set up Llorente for the second goal, even though he missed, but it's still got to be improved. He just needs that confidence back. I feel like he's just shot of confidence, and it's really affected his performances.
Maybe a summer off will do him good. I don't know if he's going to be sold or whatever, but
Napoli want him apparently.
If he's not going to be sold, maybe a summer off is going to do him well and get a bit of a pre-season.
And maybe when we are putting too much pressure on him, because I feel like he's at his best when he's in that supporting role as a right back, because he was perfect for that role.
Yeah.
But being a starting right back, I don't know, especially if we're going for a title.
All right. Moving on to Danny Rose, we gave him a 7. I thought Danny Rose has such great energy, such great will, such great fight. I think his end product as well wasn't too great, but I thought his defensive work was really good. But apart from that, not too much of note for Danny Rose. I thought.
Yeah, I thought he got forward pretty well. I thought he was his for the first goal. It was a brilliant piece of play from Rose. He nutmegged Delight inside our own half, and he plays a lovely ball into Lucas, who sets us on to score the first goal to get back in the game. I thought it was a big moment from him.
I agree with you. Yeah, he put in a good cross there, but all in all, his end product wasn't good enough. I didn't think.
Yeah, I think he had a role to play in the second goal as well. I think he got forward well, and he put a cross across the box, which I think Son picks up and then plays in Trippier, which led to the goal. So I thought he got forward fairly well. I thought he had a pretty good display. I think he's lucky that. I think Neres would usually be on his side, and I think he got injured in the warm up, or I think he was announced in the lineup.
He was injured a few days before, and then they thought
he was announced in the lineup.
They thought he was going to be back, but then he must have got a bit of a niggle.
So he didn't have to contend with him. But he had Ziyech and Tadic roaming around, which is always going to cause us trouble. But I thought he dealt with it fairly well, Danny, and I thought he had a really good game. Again, he's been one of our better players recently.
He's probably one of our most informed players in the squad at the moment.
Yeah, and you can see the passion after the game. He's there drinking a beer in the celebrations, and you can see it really meant a lot to him getting to that Champions League final. All the talk of him wanting to go, and especially the beginning of last season.
There was more talk after the game. I don't know if you heard it.
Well, he said this. Every time I read the paper, he said, "I looks like I'm going to be sold, so this might be my last game or whatever." He said that. I don't know. I wouldn't read too much into it just yet, whether that means he's going to leave or not. But the comments he made about Ruud Gullit after the game as well, he really felt like he had a point to prove in this game, and it meant a lot to him to get to his Champions League final. And now he's going to fight tooth and nail to win it for us. But I feel like it really meant a lot to Danny.
And also, back to his defensive work, like Ajax found hardly any joy down that side of the pitch, and that was a big part to do with him, because I thought he was sensational defensively.
Agreed. Jan Vertonghen, we gave him a 7. Really good display from him, I felt. Second half, he said he was playing purely on adrenaline. He really couldn't walk most of that game.
He was masked up as well, having that injury in the last game.
And given no Sanchez, no Foyth, we needed him to step up big time. And boy, I thought he did. Second half, I thought defensively we did struggle in the first half. But I thought second half we dominated. We were all over them. And how many times did Vertonghen play a long ball up into Llorente, which we want to flick on, or he was able to hold the ball up? I thought he played really, really well. And in the first half we struggled as a team, but I thought he was fantastic in that second half. And he left the ground in a protective boot, didn't he?
Yeah.
But hopefully he'll be fit for the final. We're going to need him big time.
100%. Moving on to Toby Alderweireld, we gave him a 6. I thought it was a bit of a similar display from Jan. I don't think there was too much in it between them. I think Jan just gets that boost up in his digit just because he was, wearing that mask and he was out on his legs for pretty much the whole game.
I felt Toby just was a bit more suspect than
the only thing with Toby, people can say he was at fault for that second goal, but it was nothing to do with him. It was Trippier was the one that was out of position. Toby was the one that went to cover him. So you can't really blame Toby for going and covering Trippier, even though he left that big gap in the defence for Ziyech to score that brilliant goal. Yeah. But all in all, I thought he played well, Toby. I don't have too many qualms with him.
Yeah, it was just good. Him and Jan in the second half were really on the front foot, not being passive, trying to get in front of the defenders, and it worked for us. And we needed them, and I think it really showed how important it is to have two ball-playing centre-backs in that second half, just because getting those accurate balls into Llorente, it's happened before. We've had Llorente on the pitch and we just haven't been getting the deliveries into him, and this time they will pinpoint every time. And however good Llorente was, which was absolutely fun, we'll get into that later, the balls into him were accurate and they needed to be, and I thought Toby and were a big part of that.
Yeah, so in fact I would actually push Toby up to a 7, because now you're mentioning, I completely forgot about that, but those balls into Llorente, Toby had a massive part to play in that, and for me I think he should get a 7 because of it. Alright,
maybe we'll bump it up to a 7. There we go. Next up, Victor Wanyama, we gave him a 4. He struggled in the first leg. He struggled again in the second leg, big time. We thought maybe with the energy of Sissoko around him, it would help him, but he got overrun. They seemed to target him. Whenever he got the ball, they swarmed him, and he couldn't really deal with it. I'm not sure whether he was taken off at half-time tactically or because he was injured, because he seemed to be limping in the celebrations at the end. So either way, I think it was a good move from him. I think it was probably a bit of both. I think it was probably made a decision for him.
Maybe it was a bit of a blessing in disguise.
Exactly. incredible turnaround in the second half. But yeah, he struggled big time on Wanyama. Let's not beat around the bush. He tried his best, but there's always been this thing, thinking whether Wanyama will ever get to see him back in his heights, back in 2017 when he was an absolute monster. And he wasn't one blade of grass he couldn't cover. There was hope maybe in that first when we played the second leg against City in that first half when he was brilliant.
There was a string of 2-3 games where he was brilliant.
Yeah, and then these games against Ajax, it just hasn't been good for him.
But for me, you can't. I wouldn't read too much into it in terms of him coming back, because when you look at Ajax, they're a young team full of legs, speed. Yeah. They've got a brilliant midfield in there, Frankie de Jong, who's going to Barcelona. So it's no disgrace to not have a good game against them.
I agree, but he's got the muscle. He should be bullying them. Look at
I
Sissoko.
agree, but when you've been out for so long, it's difficult to come straight back in. All right, he had a good game here, good game there, but to put it in consistently every week after such a big injury and a big layoff.
Look, it's a Champions League semi-final, so it's never going to be easy. It's just we're this game he's looked back to his best. This game he's now struggling again. It's look, are we going to rely on him into next season? I don't know. Big question marks.
100%. But if he can stay injury free for the rest of the season, have a proper pre-season,
2 games.
For the remainder of the season, if he can stay fit and have a good pre-season, stay fit for that pre-season, I think we can be on for a winner next season with him.
I hope so, because I'd love more than anyone for Wanyama to be back to his best, but I don't know. I have doubts whether we'll ever see it. I really do.
We've seen glimpses.
But. Yeah, it's just I feel like it's a bit of a setback for his progress this game.
We'll see. Anyway, moving on to Moussa Sissoko, we gave him an 8. To be fair, I think in the first half he wasn't the Moussa Sissoko, but in that second half, wow. He literally bossed that pitch in that second half. Best player, well, I would say best player. We'll get onto the best player later, but definitely one of the best players. And if we wouldn't have him in that centre of the park, I don't think we would have won the game, because he was bossing it in the middle. They didn't want it. Like, they didn't want it in the first game. They didn't want it in the second game, and he was completely bullying that centre midfield. And they didn't want anything to know about him.
Just goes to show, Moussa Sissoko has bossed his way into a Champions League final. Champions League final. He's bossed his way there. Incredible stuff. I thought in the second half he completely bullied that Ajax midfield. He bullied them the first leg, and then the second leg they didn't know how to deal with him. When he gets on the ball, I know, and as we've said before, he's not technically the best.
Players just bounce off him.
The players bounce off him. The ball bounces off him, but he still gets there before the player does. He is so strong and so powerful in his running.
Yeah.
It's so hard to stop, and it's such a shame we didn't see this for the first 2 years of his playing career at Spurs.
To be fair, he was playing a bit out of position.
I guess he was playing here and there and swapped all over the place. But now we're seeing the real Moussa Sissoko and how vital he is in that centre. And it's weird. He performs the same job as Dembele, but he does it in a different way. And they both do exactly the same thing. And I've never seen such a turnaround as Sissoko, playing his way to a Champions League final. Incredible.
The only difference between Moussa Sissoko and Moussa Dembele is that Moussa Sissoko drives forward. I don't think Dembele didn't do that nowhere near as much as
I think Dembele did drive forward, but he always cut back, and he always didn't have the confidence to really go into the box or really take on more
that's
men.
Not really driving forward then if you're going to cut back. Sissoko proper bombs it forward and looks for the options.
I'm saying Dembele could beat a man, but he'd always check back, wouldn't he? Yeah, I agree with you. Sissoko is a lot more intense. It's a lot more direct. And again, like De Jong didn't know what to deal with him. Once Sissoko's past you, he's past you. You can't do anything about it. He's so strong.
Of him as well, is mad. He's such a big man.
And he's not worried about people on his heels or anything like that. He is just, I'm going past you. You can try and get back at me, but I'm going to just outmuscle you anyway. And
if he has that performance in the second half, if he has the performance in the first half like he did in the second half, that's 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, literally. Unbelievable performance. And, he's going to be in for a real battle in the final because, Liverpool have got some real workhorses in that centre. Fabinho, Keita, Milner.
Fabinho did a massive job on Messi in that second leg, so it's going to be interesting to see.
It's going to be an interesting fight in that. It's going to be a real battle in that centre. I think, it could be key. But Sissoko, I don't think, at the moment, in a weird way, I don't think people would want to come up against him.
That's not weird. That's not a weird way. That's
that's
stone cold facts. Look, he went to Man City. He bullied Man City. He's bullied Ajax. He's bullied pretty much every team he's played against this season.
Even if he's a player where you think okay, I can get the ball of him, but he's not a player you're going to look forward to come up against.
No,
look at him.
Not.
He's so physically imposing, so powerful and fast, and he's just a player. I reckon players are going to start to fear now, which is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
For me, he is the best, if not definitely in the top 3 best centre mids in the Premier League this season.
At the moment, yeah. I mean, it's hard to, for especially his role, it's hard to disagree with that. How well he's done and how this turnaround.
Because you look at the past few seasons, who's been the best centre mid in the league? Kante. He hasn't really done it this season, has he? He's been out of position here and there. So, can you name me a better player in that role, in that Moussa Sissoko role, in the Premier League than Moussa Sissoko this season?
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to think of any. That obviously you got Fernandinho. You probably argue maybe Wijnaldum's been pretty good this season for Liverpool. I mean, in that defensive role, I think he's been better than Torreira. Torreira can do one compared to Sissoko this season. You got, look at Man United. He's probably better than Matic in that role. And then you look at who's the other club in that race? Chelsea. Kante. I think he's been better than Kante this season. So you got to give him so much credit, and Pochettino just for how good he's become, because he really has become one of the most feared centre mids in the league. Alright, next up is Christian Eriksen. We gave him a 7. A good display, I thought, from him as well. Again, first half, we can probably do this the whole team. We give him different ratings for the first and second half. But second half, I thought he really stepped up big time. That ball to Dele Alli, which Ali volleyed just onto... it was a save by Nana, one-handed save on the volley there. What a ball that was, I thought, on his left foot. Yeah. I don't know how he saw that picture. I thought his set pieces were a lot better this game. A lot better. He wasn't just getting into the first man every time. He was actually getting into the mix, and we'll get him some joy from that.
He's on the same pitch where his set pieces used to be good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, how many goals
stomping ground.
So I thought he improved them. I thought his link up with Dele and the other attacking players was pretty solid. Maybe he could have got a few more shots off. I don't remember him testing the keeper too many times, but
he dilly-dallied a bit on the edge of the box. But I think all in all, in the second half, it was a good performance for him.
Yeah, I thought he was dangerous, and I thought he was just keeping that pace up that we had. And I thought he worked so hard for the team. Now at times I saw him tracking back and tracking players like Ziyech and Tadic. I thought he considering the effort he put on against Bournemouth, massive effort from Eriksen, and all the his head didn't look in Madrid in this game. Well, maybe his head is in Madrid because we're going to the final. So
his head is definitely in Madrid.
His head is definitely in Madrid now. I think it remains to be seen about his future, but I think he's giving everything to Spurs at the current moment, and I love him for it. And
what was great to see as well, the way he was celebrating at the end. He came on his own in front of the fans, started dancing and singing. You know what I mean? It was just so great to see from Eriksen. Well, who a lot of people, including me, has said he's going to be off in the end of the season.
Well, everyone said he had to go to Madrid to win the Champions League.
And that's exactly what he's going to do.
Exactly.
Alright, moving on to Dele Alli. We gave him an 8. And I'm really happy for Dele after the first leg, because a lot of people dug him out after the first leg, saying he's not good enough, he's on bad form, he's got to be doing a lot more for the team. But that's how to respond to your critics. The 2 assists that he did, especially that second one, for the last goal for the winner, was absolutely insane.
Oh man!
That little touch into that pinpoint touch, centimetre perfect touch into Lucas Moura, and Lucas Moura finished it like he did. I just thought it was an amazing display from Dele. He looked dangerous pretty much for the whole second half. First half, no one was really good. We've said it before. But yeah, Dele back at it once again.
Yeah, he was so dangerous that second half. It was back to the Dele where we love to see him in and around the box, trying to make things happen. He forced that save out of Onana with that volley for that ball from Eriksen, which we spoke about before. He got an assist actually for the first goal as well. I think it was more by accident than anything, but he still was in there. I think he cut inside more for himself, and Lucas picked it up and scored. But I thought he was getting a good position there, and he had a vital role to play in that third goal. What of an assist that is! I think the composure it takes to do an assist like that in the 96th minute, where most players would have just picked the ball up and probably had a shot themselves or looked for the overlapping fullback, but he somehow spotted
his laid-back, nonchalant attitude.
Yeah,
as well.
just like an outsider through, just spun it in behind the Ajax defender. I don't know how Lucas got to it, but he got to it and put it in the corner. Absolutely fantastic from Dele Alli, and he's a big game player. We've said it so many times. How many times has he stepped up in a massive game like this? And even if we don't go on to win, he's usually on the score sheet. It was usually stepped up. And to do it in a Champions League semi-final in the 96th minute, I think it just shows what kind of character he is. And look, he hasn't had the best season, but I thought he's really stepped up in a massive moment. He's still playing with that. I think he's still playing with that cast on his hand.
I'm not sure, yeah.
I think he still is. And he's the boys in the Champions League final. I think he deserves it just like the rest of the team. And I thought he had an absolutely brilliant second half. And he really stepped up for us.
Yeah, and actually the last player ratings we were talking about Dele, and we were talking about he's off form, he needs to be doing more, blah blah blah. But I said to you in that episode, I was saying, it's been hard for Dele because he's been playing out of position pretty much all season, or whenever he's got to play, he's been playing a much deeper role. But you can see he was pushed higher up the pitch against Ajax, and it reaped the benefits. When you play Dele in his preferred position, he's going to bring you the goods.
Yeah, and it really did. It really did. It was good to see him again. It felt like a while since we've seen him just in and around the box, trying to go for goal and make things happen, and it was a delight to see. Great to see Dele back in that kind of role.
All right, moving on to Heung-min Son, we gave him a 6. Not the best display from Heung-min Son. I thought they kind of targeted him as our main attacking outlet. They had kind of 2 defenders on him every time he got the ball, which actually brought the space for Lucas Moura a bit more, which reaped the benefits. But for me, I think Son's got to be doing a bit more, but we're through to the final bid, so I really don't care.
Yeah, he tried his best, didn't he? And I think just before we scored our third, he had that chance, didn't he, on his left foot. He whipped it just over the bar. But as you said, he brought defenders away from the other attacking players. There's no wonder people like Lucas were able to steal in. And even my grandpa, he called me up after the game. He was like, Son didn't have too much involvement in the game, but what he did was because he was such a threat on the ball. They know what a threat he can be. He brought the Ajax defenders away from the centre of the goal, from the danger areas, which will allow people like Lucas and Dele more time on the ball and chances to score, which we did. So I thought he did a job for the team. I think he moved more out on the wing in the second half, didn't he, when Llorente came on? So I think that might have suited him a bit more than it did in the first half, him playing up front. We've seen him play good up front this season, but we know he can play either role, and I think it's in this kind of game did suit him more playing on the wing. A decent display, but it wasn't his best, but I think he did his job for the team, which ultimately worked out.
Yeah, it was kind of a case of where you could have given him 2 different ratings for being on the ball and off the ball, when you're going to give him a 6 on the ball and then maybe an 8 off the ball, because I thought he was sensational, creating that space for Lucas, which we'll come on to.
And also he played a smart ball into Trippier, which set up the second goal as well.
Yeah,
so you got to give him credit for that as well.
That's true. Go on.
And finally, well, not finally for the first 11 anyway, Lucas Moura, we gave him, is this our first ever 10?
No,
we gave him a
10.
Way. We should have like some confetti or something. We'll probably put that in for maybe next time. Unbelievable, Lucas Moura. How has he done this in a Champions League semi-final? Scoring a hat-trick when we're 2-0 down, all on his weaker foot as well. All 3 finishes absolutely dynamite, I thought he was absolutely sensational in that second half. I've never seen a player step up like that for a team. Like it's absolutely incredible. A player that, a lot of question marks have been about him this season, and since he joined Spurs. He scored a hat-trick against Huddersfield not too long ago as well. We're saying we need to see more of that clinical finishing. Yeah. And how did we see that? Unbelievable. I mean, going through each goal as well. That first goal, steals in. I don't know how he nips in ahead of all 3 Ajax defenders when Dele's in there. amazing.
At that stage, they're
well.
3-0 up. They looked a bit laid back at the time, and suddenly Lucas is just storming in there and gets us back in the game.
We've said it before. His dribbling is second to none.
And
he's
that
one of the
showed
best.
The second goal.
Exactly.
The second goal, Llorente misses a complete sitter. Yeah. And somehow it falls to Lucas in the box. He wins it somehow, and he beats about 2 or 3 men within the box.
I mean, he's so alert.
And then just slots it in the bottom left-hand corner.
He's so alert. He's so alive to the situation. Like when Llorente misses, it would be very easy just for everyone to just stop and you let the keeper go. I know the keeper kind of goes for it, makes a bit of a hash of it, but if Lucas ain't alive to that situation happening, the defender clears it easily, and he nips in ahead of the defender. I don't know how he did it. His footwork in the box is world class, absolutely world class, worthy of a Champions League semi-final. He kind of flip-flops
Messi-esque.
Yeah, literally it was. I was considering he scored on his left foot as well. He turned in like prime Lionel Messi in that bloody second half. Incredible. His footwork, like he kind of flip-flapped around one player, and then moved the ball to the left-hand side. On his left, whipped it with power into that corner where the chance looked like it had gone after what a sitter by Llorente, by the way, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Making it 2-2 on the night. Even under an hour played, we've got half an hour to score a third goal. Lucas Moura scored 2 goals in 4 minutes. Real clinical finishes. But that goal in the 96th minute was jaw-dropping.
I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. I'm literally getting emotional just thinking about it.
However good the pass was from Dele, which was brilliant, which you said it. I don't know how Lucas got there ahead of both those defenders. He was second, but he was second in the race the whole way. And he somehow nips in. Not only does he nip in, he gets an amazing contact on the ball,
pinpoint,
right into the corner. So much power on that finish. On his left foot, 3 left foot finishes for a right-footed player shows how good he is technically, and how much more we could be seeing from him. Considering how good he is from dribbling, we saw again how amazing he is on the ball. His dribbling skills are absolutely technically unbelievable. I can't think of too many better players. So. If he can add finishing to his game like he did, might actually have one of the best players in Europe if he can add finishing to his game.
This man has just written his name down in the Tottenham history record books forever, The first man to take us to a European final, a hat-trick in the semi-final after being what it was pretty much 3-0 down with 45 minutes of football left to play.
Yeah, and you think about how many amazing Brazilians have played in Champions League in our lifetime. Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Ronaldo,
Romario.
Like all these players have played in Champions League. He is the first Brazilian to score a Champions League semi-final.
Hat-trick. Really?
A hat-trick.
Oh, a hat-trick.
First player to score a hat-trick. First Brazilian to score a hat-trick in the semi-final of a Champions League. Just shows how it's not easy. It's not you don't just wake up. You don't just do it every season. You know what I mean? And for him to do that when you're 2-0 down as well in a semi-final, needing 3 goals to win the tie, all in the second half, all on his weaker foot.
What was the silver lining to it all?
Blew me away.
What was the silver lining to it all?
Silver lining?
Unai Emery sold him to us. That is the silver lining.
Unai Emery sold him.
Thank you, Unai.
Go on, Unai. Unai Revolution. Love that. Absolutely love that. Man, he couldn't have done much worse, could he, Unai, with that transfer. 25 million, absolute bargain. In it now, you're looking at it. How many goals he got now this season? Must be over like 15.
I think he was on about 11 before yesterday. So
was he on 11? So I thought he was okay. So he's on about 14.
Maybe he was
15.
on about 12. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought he's on about 14, 15, which is a pretty decent return for a player who's not starting every week, and we don't rely on him on goals. It just shows what a good squad, like good player he could really be turning out to be. And I think if Poch can really get this kind of performance on a regular basis, there is no limit to how good this guy can be, because his dribbling gets him into so many amazing situations. How many times in a game would his dribbling get him into a situation where he would screw it up? Like it's happened. It happens about 4 or 5 times a game.
That's the time. We've said it time and time again. Lucas Moura is a great player. He just needs to do much better with his end product.
Yeah.
And if he does do that, this is what he's capable of.
Because he gets into those situations so many times a game. He could be getting 3-4 goals a game if his end product was that good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because his dribbling is that amazing, and if we can look at this is all on his left foot, on his weaker foot. So it just shows what an amazing player we have on our hands if we can get him playing regularly. And Pochettino getting this kind of performance out of him, I have no words, because it clearly, you saw Lucas crying at the end. It clearly meant so much to him. I think people have doubted him a long time. He failed at PSG. He's been in and out of the Brazilian national team. Mm-hmm. Only really when he came to Spurs has he come back into the fold in that regard. So he's probably, this is a player who signed for PSG for 40 million. So there's a lot of promise about him, a lot of talk about him. And it's clearly weighed a lot on him. You saw how much it meant to him to score a Champions League semi-final hat-trick, to get his team to the final, and really have that belief in himself that he could be what the potential he had. I think it all came out after the game in that interview when he started bursting out into tears for Lucas.
And for me, this guy is a Tottenham legend now. No, there's no qualms about it. This guy is an absolute Tottenham legend. He scored a hat-trick to send us to the Champions League final after being 3-0 down.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. We were talking about him crying at full time. God, I was crying at full time. The whole away end, and thousands of Spurs fans in Amsterdam Square, around London, around the world were crying at full time. After we got back from all the celebrations at 4 a.m, I watched the highlights for the first time, and when that goal goes in, that third goal, I get shivers up my spine. I got tears in my eyes, and I'm just like, what the hell has just happened tonight? This guy has sent us to a Champions League final. A Champions League final.
Oh my God, I still can't believe it. Lucas Moura, you absolute hero, you legend, you're a superhero, as Pochettino said. I cannot thank you enough for that performance in the second half, and let's hope we see more of that because no pun intended, because look, sensational, absolutely sensational.
Moving on to Fernando Llorente, we gave him a 9. He came on at half-time for Victor Wanyama, but I thought he was absolutely sensational, did everything that we asked of him to do. I think he won every single header that came up to him. Toby and Jan just pumping balls up to him. He was winning them and getting them to a Tottenham man, which every time, pretty much. He should have scored when Lucas scored that second goal.
That's an understatement.
Should have scored. He missed a big chance. We'll forgive you just because we scored and just because of the performance you put in, but masterstroke from Pochettino to put him on, because we reap the benefits.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying a lot that the game in the first leg wasn't suited to him because of how high Ajax were playing. But you know what, Ajax played right into his hands. Because they really dropped deep in that second half.
They went to protect that lead in that second half.
Which is understandable given they got the 3 goals. But it really played into Llorente's hands because it meant he could kind of push back on the centre back. He can physically impose himself on them, and he can bully them. And when Ajax played really far up like they did in the first leg, he couldn't do that because he was doing it in the centre circle. What joy was going to get out of it? But when you're doing it on the edge of the area, it's a whole different kettle of fish. And to be fair to Llorente, absolutely amazing. He's like prime Didier Drogba on there. It was incredible, absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He was winning every single header. Everything was sticking to him. Everything was going to a Tottenham man. He was the hub of our whole attack in that second half. It was absolutely brilliant.
You know what it reminded me of a bit? Remember when I'm talking years ago now, when Berbatov was at Spurs and we were down to 10 men against Bolton, and Berbatov was up front completely on his own, and all we did the whole game was lump balls up to Berbatov. Berbatov won every single time he won that ball and either sprayed it or beat a man, and that's what Llorente did.
And he really brought. If it wasn't for Llorente, I don't think we would have seen as much as Dele, as much of Eriksen and Lucas.
100%.
All 3 of them really got more space on the ball and more time because of the amazing hold-up play by Llorente. And you've got to give him so much credit for coming on and changing the game like he did. And he won I've read after the game, he won 13 aerial duels out of 17, so he only lost 4 out of 17, which is incredible, which is more than, and also he won more than any other player has won in a Champions League game this season. It showed how effective he was, and as Mourinho said after the game, strategy won over philosophy in that second half. It's absolutely right. We decided to change our attack a bit. It wasn't the most beautiful. We did play some good stuff at times when we got the ball up, but the initial transition of lumping it to Llorente, look, if it's working, don't change what's not broken. You know what I mean? And that was working at time and time again. And Llorente, man, wow, well played, man.
Is he getting a new contract at the end of the season?
It's up to Pochettino. Look, it's not just today. Dortmund in the first leg, he got the 3rd goal. City, he scored. He got us to the semi-final. In the group stages, he changed the game against PSV.
Chelsea in the Carabao Cup.
Chelsea in the Carabao Cup, he scored a goal. We wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for Llorente. Let's be honest. And look, he's not the most suited to how we want to play football, but as a plan B, there aren't many better, and he's proven it time and time again this season. Not just in the Champions League, in the Premier League as well, but especially in the Champions League. He's the reason. He is a massive reason why we're in the final, and he's come up with massive moments and massive times and big performances as well. Changed games when we needed them to be changed. He's really given us another option up there, and I'm so proud that he's managed to turn his Tottenham career around, just like Sissoko and other members of the squad. Llorente as well. Man, you're in the final and you absolutely deserve it.
So has Llorente completely answered these critics now, saying that Tottenham need a second striker?
I don't know. It's a tough one, because I do think we need another option just in case another long-term injury. Like, I wouldn't want to play. I wouldn't want to be playing Llorente up front for like 20 games.
But that's why you got Son, Lucas. You got
agree with you.
As well.
Is he a fantastic plan B as a substitute option? I think he's proven that he is. He's proven that he's really effective off the bench. So, would I give him a new contract? Yeah, I'll give him a new contract. I'll give him another 1 year, and I think I would happily have him as a third choice striker next season. And I think he knows what he can achieve in that role as well. So I think he'd be happy with that. Do I think Spurs need another backup striker? I think it's overstated. I think there are other places we need a
I agree with you, but I'm just talking about that for now.
Do Spurs need a backup striker? I think we could do with another option.
For me, I wouldn't sign one.
I think, look, if we ended the next window without another backup striker and still with Kane, Son and Llorente, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Especially if we strengthen other positions, that would be my priority. But I think I do feel like we do need another option in a perfect world. In a perfect world, I think I'd have another option.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to Pochettino, we gave him a 10. This man has taken us with no signings in the last 2 windows, no stadium the last 2 seasons. Everything against him, everyone writing him off, everyone writing Tottenham off. This man has delivered Champions League final to Tottenham Hotspur. I just can't believe what I'm saying. We gave him a 10, by the way.
Yeah.
But this guy, I thought lineup was absolutely spot on. It's the exact lineup we predicted beforehand, wasn't it, Sim?
Yeah.
First half, I don't think the game plan went 100% as he intended, but second half, he brought on Llorente. He saw the problems that were mounting, and he answered those critics, and he answered the problems, and we win the game 3-2. I'm just speechless. I can't get the words out of my mouth. I'm just like,
I think the job.
I'm so emotional.
I think the job Pochettino has done this season, especially the Champions League, has really, really, if it wasn't confirmed already, it's 100% confirmed now that Pochettino is among the elite managers in Europe. I cannot be no doubt about that. I don't care what anyone says. Pochettino, I don't care how many trophies this one's won or that one's won or Emre's won 3 Europa League. I don't give a crap. He cannot do what Pochettino has done this season with this squad and how he's turned it around. Not only, as you said before, no stadium, no signings, players wanting to leave, players on low wages, players no pre-season, players coming back late from the World Cup, injury crisis. How many times has Son, Kane, Ali, Eriksen played together? You can probably count on one hand how many times they've played together.
12 players in a World Cup semi-final.
12. It's just the
list goes on.
The list goes on and on and on. 13 defeats in the league this season. How he's Sissoko, Llorente. These players were written off. No one wanted them at the club. Lucas, people were question marks about him. He's turned them all around in an incredible fashion. He's got Danny Rose. He's got him back on side. How he's got Sissoko to be one of the best Premier League midfielders in this season, incredible. Llorente is now one of the best defenders, one of the best strikers.
Does it even matter who we sign if we've got a manager like Pochettino?
Honestly,
you know what I mean?
Honestly, it just shows you how overrated things like signings are in the modern day and age of football. I know. Look, we need to upgrade the squad, and everyone can see that. But it's nothing on the coaching, and I think Pochettino has absolutely proved that. He's competing against people like City and Liverpool, who are spending hundreds
behind them.
They're spending hundreds of millions every time. Even look at Arsenal, Lacazette, Aubameyang, Ozil, Socrates, Mustafi, all signed for 40+ million. You know what I mean? They're getting more money back behind them. Pochettino's not having that luxury, and he is literally somehow making a wall with paper mache and just making it solid as a rock. I don't know how he's doing it.
We're in the same race with a different vehicle, and that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
He's literally turning water into wine. That's what he's doing every single season. And he's got us. I can't stress enough. He got us into a Champions League final. And people could have said we could have got knocked out in the quarters, and people would have said he'd done a good job. You know what I mean? And we got to the semis. We could have gone out. And people said we would have done a good job. And he's not taking nothing. He's not taking. We do not know when we're beaten, and it's all because of this man. He's instilled this mentality into this squad, which cannot be beaten at the moment, and we don't know when we're beaten. How many times this season have we been down and out? How many times this season, especially the Champions League?
We've been out of the Champions League about 3 times this season.
Yeah, the group stages against PSV we should have been out. 10 minutes away from going into Milan. 10 minutes away from going out. 5 minutes away going out against Barcelona. 15 minutes or 10 minutes away against City from going out. And then 30 seconds, 10 seconds away against Ajax from going out. Every time we've come back and we're still here, we're still fighting on. Is our name written on the trophy? Look, we've got a final against Liverpool, who they think their name's written on the trophy after their semi-final.
It's our year.
So look, I think the debate will range on who's better, Klopp or Pochettino. I think maybe this game will decide it at the moment.
Yeah, well, this final's being branded the bottle job derby.
The bottle job. Who's gonna have more bottle? Look, it's hard for us not to believe our name's written on the trophy. It's hard for Liverpool not to believe their name's written on the trophy. It's gonna be
a cracking
spectacle. But Pochettino, man, you are a hero. You're a superhero in all Tottenham Hotspur fans' eyes. I didn't think I could ever love a man as much as I love Pochettino.
Exactly.
Watching after the game as well, coming out, not just the first time he came, but the second time as well when it was just him and the coach himself. Epic, absolutely epic. Him celebrating the fans, doing the thunderclap and all that. He really has a special connection with the fans. We love him so much. We really do appreciate everything he's done for Spurs, and I really hope it continues for a long, long time. He said this is the end of a project, and the new project starts next season. Let's hope Levy backs him big time in the summer. There's rumours already that we've maybe had a bid accepted for Andre Gomez. That remains to be seen. That'll be a fantastic deal, in my opinion. Will be a good deal. I think a good signing for us. But Pochettino, as he said it in the press conference before the year, if I win the Champions League under these circumstances, I might need to do something else. And I think what he meant was, it's kind of like Jay saying Champions League completed it, mate. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's like, how can you win Champions League in this situation?
He's going to take Tottenham to the NFL.
That's
what he's going to do.
Yeah, exactly. He might handle our Brexit negotiations. He's clearly winning at everything at the moment. I think what he meant by saying he'll have to do something else is because he's saying if I win Champions League under these circumstances, I've completed it. I've completed football. I'm done. I'm done, mate, and I'm finished. No one can say shit. No one can say anything. If I win Champions League with these circumstances, that's it, mate. I'm the best manager that's ever lived. So I don't know how he's managed to do it. I think he's absolutely amazing job, and I'm so proud of what he's achieved and what he's done with this club since he took over. We're a completely different outfit, mentality on the pitch, off the pitch, everything, and I think it's all down to him. He takes the majority of the credit for me.
Up until a few months ago, we couldn't even dream of being in a Champions League final. A dream would be too far. To dream of being in a Champions League final would be too far-fetched.
Yeah, it doesn't happen to us.
Now it is reality. Can you believe? I just can't believe it.
We are in a Champions League final.
But anyway, the season is not over just yet because we've got a massive game against Everton this weekend.
Well, yeah, we just don't need to lose by 4. So yeah, just get a draw, and it'll be all right. Look,
we've seen it being done before. What happened when Leicester won the league? There was an 8-goal swing that day.
Yeah, when Leicester won the league. Well, yeah, at the end of that season, we lost 5-1, and then Arsenal won 4-0. There was an 8-goal swing that season. Thankfully, we finished above Arsenal, which was an awful day. But I have belief that this squad can get the result they need on the final day. Look, I can't see it being an 8-goal swing. Look, you never know.
I couldn't see it that day either.
Yeah, but there wasn't meant to be an 8-goal swing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
So, look, we need to get that point that we need on the final day. Confirm saying Tottenham's Day is no more for 3rd year running, so they can say goodbye to those Arsenal fans. Exactly, I don't know. I think the pendulum, the power is clearly shifting in North London, and Sunday is going to be another day just to emphasise that. Then we go to Madrid if we can make it, whoever can make it there. It's going to be absolutely ginormous. It's going to be the biggest day, I think, of my life I've ever seen as a Spurs fan.
Bigger than your bar mitzvah?
Oh, maybe not. Second then. We are in a final. Not only are we in a final playing Liverpool in the Champions League final. We should have beaten them at Anfield. We're going to beat them this time. I cannot wait to get this Champions League final away. Oh man, I'm going to be so nervous for this day, man. But these players deserve it. You saw the celebrations after the game, how much it means to them being in this position. Hopefully it spurs us on to bigger things. Maybe it'll convince some people to stay. Maybe we'll convince some people to come. We'll see what this Champions League one means for us. But I think it's going to be absolutely ginormous. Cannot wait. Cannot wait.
100%. This is probably my favourite player ratings video we've ever shot.
Amazing.
I've just been sitting here. I've hardly said a word, and you've just been blabbering on, and I've just been so emotional, just sitting here. Just in the thought of playing in the Champions League final. But anyway, we move on. We've got Everton in the last game of the season this weekend to confirm our spot above the Arsenal and to confirm our spot in the top 4. So we'll see you this weekend. Check out for all our content revolving the game. And as always,
COYS!